This is Valley News Live at 10.
Thanks for joining us. Soon, President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program could relieve debt for millions of Americans.
But in some states like Minnesota, the money could be considered taxable income. Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor has reaction tonight.
8 million Americans could soon be relieved of $10,000 to $20,000 of student loan debt. And the announcement of the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness has received mixed reviews among Americans.
I think for some people it's needed.
I'm a little torn by it, simply because I have a son who would benefit from it. But as a former student myself, I had to pay off my own student loan.
The overall intent is to relieve borrowers of their crushing debt. But in some states like Minnesota, that relief is subject to state taxes.
Still a pretty good deal, but you need to realize it's coming.
In Minnesota, that money could be added to your regular income, and borrowers could face a tax bill of up to more than $950 for $10,000 in relief.
The $10,000 doesn't appear in your bank account. It's amount you don't have to pay back over a course of years.
One Minnesotan student loan borrower says she understands why that money would be taxable.
It does make sense because money in general is taxed no matter how you get it.
Adding, it's still better than paying $10,000 to $20,000 on student loans.
You're not having to pay that very large amount. You're paying a fraction of it.
Some Minnesota legislators and Governor Tim Walz say they support creating a way to make student loans exempt from state taxes, which could happen by the 2023 session. In Moorhead, Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.
Mississippi, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Arkansas are all also on track to consider the relief taxable income if their legislatures don't make any changes.
Some schools in Grand Forks will dismiss early tomorrow due to high temperatures. Lewis and Clark, Nathan Twining, Viking, and Wilder schools will be let out at noon. All elementary and middle school athletic activities are also being called off. You can find more details on that closure on your VNL News app. Just click on this story.
We do have some toasty temperatures this week, but also some pretty sunsets, Hutch.
Indeed we do. As we head into the nighttime hours, we're keeping our eyes on the sky for another chance at the northern lights. But just a few moments ago, that setting sun, as the sun dove down through the horizon, it sure was red. Kind of haze to our atmosphere today, likely kicked up by the winds from the south and all of the harvest dust around. Here's another shot of it. You can see from the lake view here just how orange things were in the lower atmosphere. Beautiful. Thanks so much for uploading your photos. Now a look at your temperatures today, peaking 80 to 85 degrees in eastern North Dakota, mid 70s for a lot of you in western Minnesota, 79 though in Fergus Falls, Thief River at 78 degrees. Kelsey captured this from the last night's event of the Northern Lights. Just gorgeous. Thanks for all of your photos. And there is a chance once again tonight of seeing the Northern Lights, generally after the 11 o'clock hour. But it could be a strong aurora in the northern latitudes. So our northern communities will have the best chance to see it. Our eyes are trained up there at the Devil's Lake area to the north, just to see if we can capture a glimpse of if it gets started tonight. 69 right now in Jamestown, 64 in Detroit Lakes, and still near 70 here in the valley. With decreasing clouds, it looks like a quiet evening. Your planner for Fargo shows temperatures sneaking down through the 60s tonight. The wind kind of stays breezy throughout the evening hours. There's some heat in the forecast, a big cool down, a chance of rain. We'll go over all of that coming up here in just a few moments.
All right. Thanks so much, Hutch.
A former coach with the Valley City School District is facing child sex charges. 64-year-old Davy Zink is accused of solicitation and trying to lure minors through a computer. Court documents claim this incident happened in October of 2019 while he was employed as a part-time coach with the district. His first court appearance is scheduled for tomorrow.
Happening tomorrow, memorial services will be held for 2 of the 4 victims of a murder-suicide in Towner County. The funeral for Justin and Richard Bracken is tomorrow morning at 10:30 at Leeds Lutheran Church. Visitation is 1 hour before the funeral at the church. The service will be streamed through the Nelson Funeral Home Facebook page. The other people who died are Doug Dwoolmage of Leeds and Robert Bracken of Candu. No word yet on their funeral arrangements. The 4 men were found dead last Monday in a wheat field in rural Towner County.
Also happening tomorrow, trial is set to begin for a Fargo man accused of killing a young teen last year. 24-year-old Arthur Cawley is charged with murder, robbery, and aggravated assault in connection to the deadly stabbing of 14-year-old Jupiter Paulson near the Party City in Fargo. That trial is scheduled to last 4 days. If he's found guilty, Cawley could face life in prison.
New tonight at 10, a 29-year-old Larimore woman and 56-year-old woman from Colorado are at All True Hospital with serious injuries after a car crash near Annetta this afternoon. That happened around 3:45 at the intersection of North Dakota Highways 15 and 32. Highway Patrol says the Colorado woman was charged with failure to yield at a stop sign when she ran into another vehicle. Troopers are still investigating.
Happening now, police in Memphis, Tennessee say they have recovered a body during a search for a missing teacher who was abducted while out for a morning run this week. Police have not said whether this body they found is that of Eliza Fletcher. On Saturday, police arrested a person named Cleotha Abston in connection with the kidnapping. He is being held on $500,000 bond and is due in court tomorrow.
New for you tonight, Canadian investigators say one of the suspects in this weekend's deadly stabbings has been found dead. Police say they found the body of Damian Sanderson this morning. Investigators aren't sure about the exact cause of death, but they say he did have injuries that do not appear to be self-inflicted. The body was found in a grassy area on the James Smith Cree Nation. Investigators say the suspects were brothers, and although he may be injured, Miles Sanderson remains armed and dangerous.
With tragedy like this and unknown whereabouts, there's a lot of anxiety in our province right now, in our communities and throughout the country. And so, we need to start the healing process. And until we can make this arrest, that isn't going to happen.
Investigators say reports that the brothers were spotted after the stabbings may have not been accurate, adding it was likely Miles Sanderson and another person that were spotted in the suspect's vehicle.
From leaders in Fargo to leaders at the U.S. Capitol, lately we've seen a lot of people experience how easy it is for people to be sent threatening messages and how tough it can be for police to track them down. Local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies are investigating right now after Fargo school board members received hundreds of threats following their decision to stop saying the Pledge of Allegiance before board meetings, which they eventually reversed. Police say this is a growing problem, but technology makes it tough to track and identify numbers or locations. They add there are stipulations depending on the severity of the crime, the phone carrier, whether a burner phone is used. Also, only the victim or legal guardian can be the one to file the report, and then they determine what type of law is being violated.
And so in situations such as this, they are overwhelmingly complex because we also have to be able to identify a suspect, and then there's additional levels of complexity based on jurisdiction and what we're capable of doing.
Police also suggest getting in touch with your cell phone provider to see if they can offer any protection from unwanted calls.
Today was the final day at the Minnesota State Fair, but it ended on a bit of a sour note after a shooting in the Midway section Saturday night, triggering mass panic. Reporter Megan Reistad talked with deputies who intervened.
Alrighty, have fun, thank you. In the final days of the Great Minnesota Get-Together, we're enjoying the food, the atmosphere. Jocelyn Havanek isn't dwelling on the events of Saturday night. It's really unfortunate what happened. Nearby on the Midway, how fast you do this one? Neither were they.
Right over here, kind of on this pillar where the shot was fired.
Ramsey County Sheriff's Deputy Alex Graham was there when the violence erupted late Saturday night.
People fighting, brawling, kicking, pushing, everything.
Ramsey County Sheriff Bob Fletcher was there as well.
Hey, welcome back to the Minnesota State Fair.
And talked about what happened on his Live on Patrol Facebook page Sunday afternoon.
Alex's use of chemical probably prevented an actual gunfight.
Graham says he saw the man fire the gun and describes the chaos trying to catch him.
Essentially swimming upstream against the Mississippi, but we're gonna find you. This is not an if, it's a when.
Fletcher says several agencies from across the state have volunteered to send extra patrols to assist with security in the final days of the fair. At this point, they're still not sure how the gun got in.
The fencing around here is a good fencing, but it's easy to throw a gun over the top. The metal detection is good, but not perfect. And so, obviously, when you have 250,000 people coming in here, it's not going to be a perfect scenario.
They say fear shouldn't be part of the fair.
If you have any concerns about the fair, just leave the midway before 10. You know, it's real simple because that's only where our problems occur.
Jocelyn says she's not concerned with safety during the day, but when the sun sets.
No, I wouldn't come at night.
In other news, a heads up for our Days of Our Lives viewers. Your show will be moving off of NBC and onto the streaming service Peacock starting September 12th. The slot is being replaced with a new program called NBC News Daily. Peacock will have a special offer through the month for you to sign up for just $1.99.